How to check bank screens for real-time currency rates, IQD VND step-by-step tutorial Iraqi Dinar, with an introduction tailored for your channel RV News, written entirely in paragraph form, without headings. Welcome back to RV News, your #1 source for breaking updates, behind-the-scenes intel, and step-by-step tutorials regarding the Iraqi Dinar, Vietnamese Dong, and the Global Currency Revaluation movement. If you've ever wondered how to check real-time rates for the IQD and VND on bank screens, then this video is absolutely for you. Today, we'll take a deep dive into the exact process step by step on how to access this information or request it from bank professionals the right way. Whether you're a seasoned currency holder or new to this game, knowing how to verify real-time rates directly from the banking system can make all the difference. So stay tuned, grab a notebook if needed, and let's unlock the tools and knowledge to help you navigate this exciting financial landscape. Let's start with the core question that thousands in the RV community are asking. How do you actually check what a bank sees on their screen regarding exchange rates? Many assume that what we see online in platforms like xe.com or Forex aggregators is the same information that a bank teller sees. But the truth is, the internal systems that banks use, often referred to as backscreens, Tier 1 terminals, or bank screen rates, operate independently of public platforms. These internal terminals are connected directly to central banking systems, global exchange networks, and in many cases, proprietary networks specific to each institution. What the teller sees on their screen, especially when it comes to Tier 4B exchanges or restricted currencies like the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong, differ significantly from what's displayed online. To begin this process, your first step is choosing the right bank. Not every bank participates in exotic currency exchanges. Based on our intel and thousands of reports from the RV community, major U.S. banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, and sometimes even regional credit unions, are known to have access to IQD and VND rates internally even if they don't currently offer public exchanges. So, your first move should be to locate a full-service branch of one of these banks in your area. Avoid using small, express locations or mini-branches inside supermarkets. They typically don't have the capability to view or process foreign exchange transactions, especially involving restricted currencies. Once you've located a suitable bank branch, walk in and ask to speak with someone from the foreign currency exchange department. If the teller doesn't seem to understand your request, ask politely to speak with a branch manager or the foreign exchange officer. Remember, you're not demanding an exchange or simply asking to view what the bank currently has listed for the Iraqi Dinar or Vietnamese Dong. It's important to maintain a respectful, patient, and professional demeanor. The words you use matter. You might say something like, "Hi, I understand some banks have access to real-time currency rates through their internal systems. I'm not requesting an exchange right now, but I was wondering if someone could check the screen for current IQD or VND rates available internally for informational purposes." In many cases, they may tell you that these currencies are not actively being exchanged or are considered exotic or restricted. Don't panic or get discouraged. This is actually part of the process. You can politely ask whether they are able to see the live rates internally, even if exchanges are not being processed at that time. Some tellers may say that they can't reveal what's on the screen unless you're doing a transaction, while others might openly tell you what's showing. Every bank and every teller is different. This is why patience and persistence are key. If you get a positive response and they are willing to show or tell you the rate, listen carefully. Some may quote you something like 0.00086 USD per dinar, while others might say rates not available at the moment. If the rate they give you is close to the CBI Central Bank of Iraq rate or the publicly listed rate, it likely means there has been no major change on the back end. However, if they quote you a dramatically higher number, say $3 or more per dinar or dong, it could mean that the revaluation has reached Tier 1 bank screens, or that you are viewing a rate in anticipation of a private exchange rollout. It's also worth noting that some bank screens will show contract rates or negotiable rates. If you're part of a private group or you have wealth management services at the bank, these rates won't be available to the general public and might require you to meet specific account thresholds or be referred by a relationship manager. If you already have a relationship with a bank and a financial advisor assigned to your account, reach out to them directly and ask about these internal screens. Say something along the lines of, "I've heard there are internal foreign currency rates not publicly visible. Can you confirm whether IQD or VND is listed in the bank's internal system, even if not exchangeable today?" It's best to ask over the phone first, then set an appointment in person if necessary. Now, if you're not in the United States, the process may differ slightly depending on your country. For instance, Canadian banks like RBC and TD may have access to currency rates, but might restrict visibility for currencies not approved for immediate trade. In the UK, banks like HSBC, Barclays, and Lloyds are known to use tiered foreign exchange platforms and may show off-market rates if you request a forward contract or structured product. In any of these locations, the basic principle remains the same: request politely to speak to someone who can access the bank's live foreign currency screens and ask whether IQD or VND appears in their system. Let's now address the issue of security, clearance, and tier access. In the currency revaluation world, you'll often hear the term Tier for B, which refers to the general public holders of IQD and VND who are not elite or politically connected. Some bank screens are configured to display Tier 1 sovereign, Tier 2 institutional, or Tier 3 military government exchange rates, but those tiers are rarely visible to standard bank personnel. However, IF Tier for B activity has begun, as many believe is now occurring. Some front-facing rates may be visible on back screens under test or pending status. These are sometimes referred to as pending live or inactive rates, and they typically appear shortly before a full public release. Again, what the teller sees may depend on system refresh schedules, permission levels, and whether that particular branch has been selected for redemption appointments. A critical tip here is to note the terminology used on these screens. Many bank systems will display something called a buy rate and a sell rate. The buy rate refers to how much the bank is willing to pay you for each unit of foreign currency you turn in. This is what matters to us as currency holders. The sell rate is what the bank would charge you if you wanted to purchase that currency from them. Sometimes these rates differ by a wide margin due to bank fees, international transfer costs, and market conditions. When the revaluation occurs, these spreads are expected to narrow substantially, particularly under negotiated or contract rate scenarios. Now let's move on to the digital side. Some customers have reported success accessing partial rate data using bank mobile apps or online foreign exchange portals, especially those who bank with Wells Fargo or HSBC Premier accounts. While these online platforms rarely show IQD or VND as tradable currencies, some users have spotted them during specific maintenance windows or technical glitches when back-end data accidentally appears on front-end interfaces. If you're tech, you can periodically check the currency exchange sections of your bank's app and look for any anomalies. Additionally, some banks offer secure customer messaging where you can send formal inquiries about specific currencies, compose your message professionally, and ask whether the bank supports transactions in IQD or VND, and whether you can schedule a consultation regarding currency redemption in the future. There are also tools used by financial professionals such as the Bloomberg Terminal, Reuters Icon, and Swift-connected platforms that show restricted currency flows, although these are not available to the general public. However, if you know someone who works in finance or banking, you may be able to ask them discreetly whether they've seen IQD or VND movement on those platforms. Be cautious with this method. It should never be used to push confidential information or breach employment policies. Another strategy is to look for patterns over time. Visit multiple banks in your area and keep a journal of what each branch is seeing, saying, or denying. If several branches begin to show active or pending rates around the same time, this could indicate a coordinated rollout across Tier 4B institutions. Some researchers even suggest doing this in sync with reported update times, often around 2 a.m. EST and 4:45 p.m. EST, when international rate tables are commonly refreshed by central banking authorities and exchange hubs. Use this window to check if rates have changed or if visibility improves. And finally, let's talk about ethics. Never pressure a bank employee to reveal something they're not authorized to show. Never record conversations without consent, and never misrepresent your intentions. This movement thrives on credibility and community trust. Be a good ambassador for this process. If you do gain